All right.
Yeah. Do you want to start, Meg, or do you want me to
Yeah, I'm
start?
just pulling up my screen, getting it all ready. Hi, guys. We're really excited to be here with you guys today, especially as we go into the holiday season and there's so many things going on. We're really happy that you guys took an hour out of your busy schedule to come spend a little bit of time with us and talk about powering your dream and going from inspiration to execution. So the thought behind when we started to come up with this webinar, it was we just left WBC, and really it's not just WBC, it's any conference, any webinar, any inspirational podcast that you listen to. You know, we come off of those things and we have so many great ideas, so many notes that you've taken, inspiration, just so much stuff going through your head and so many things that you want to take from that event or the podcast that you want to implement. And it's so hard to take it from what inspired you to actually putting it into the work. So that's kind of what we're here to talk about today, is how to go from inspiration to execution. You know, we're all ready to turn our dreams into reality. And now it's really the time to think of yourself and really putting your ideas into work. You may have had some time in the last, again, we're going to reference WBC. We'll try not to, because we know that not everybody attended. But, you know, for us, it was big. WBC was 6 weeks ago. You know, you had some time since that conference or any other conferences this year to really think about what you came away from. And we'd love to hear you guys share your ideas, inspirations you've had over the course of 2022 as well. If you want to go to the next slide, I'll just share a minute about who we are and why we are here.
1 second. You can keep going.
That's all right. I'll keep talking.
So technical difficulties.
Meggan Ciaccia, and we have Michele Schina as well talking. We are Beyond Strategy Partners. We are here because we are licensed consultants with the One Page Business Plan. If you've been around NAWBO, you've heard One Page Business Plan. They've been a sponsor and a great supporter of NAWBO for over 7 years. And Michele and myself, we're the team that supports the chapters, the PISC committee, HQ, and the board on their strategic planning and the use of the one-page plan. I'm going to go forward again. So here, you know, inspiration. The definition of inspiration is the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something, especially to do something creative. It's that sudden, brilliant, creative, or timely idea. And the great thing about inspiration is that what inspires me isn't the same thing that inspires any of you. It's all completely different. We could all be at the same conference, the same webinar today, right? Hear the same people talking, the same speakers, the same things being presented, and we're all going to walk away with something completely different. Our ideas, our businesses, our thoughts, and our plans are all unique. And what we do with what inspires us is really what will drive our growth going forward. So today, we want to take a look at how you can take the inspiration you've received and turn it into that executionable plan. I think we made up a word there, but that's all right. And we'll do this by talking about the importance of planning, how your ideas and inspirations are key ingredients to your plan, how the one-page business plan supports business growth planning, and the 3 fundamental elements of focus on your future, know where you are today, and create your roadmap. Next page, and you're up, Michele.
I know. Meggan gives me the ability to do the slides. I'm so great at it. Just kidding. All right. So your inspiration is what is taking you, your inspiration moves you to your dreams, really, to some degree. It allows you to dream, and from there you can create your goals for yourselves and your lives. When I attended the Women's Business Conference in October, for example, I gathered so many great nuggets from the event. It was wonderful to see people. There were amazing speakers there. And one speaker in particularly resonated with me, Maggie Cook. Some of you were there. You listened to Maggie speak. And if you don't know her, she's created Maggie's award-winning natural fresh salsa and dips. And Maggie grew up in Mexico and in poverty, and she grew her business to before she sold it for $300 million. And the way she spoke, she inspired me so much. I was feverishly taking notes on what she did to achieve her success. And I wrote those ideas down, and I thought to myself, and there were three ideas in particular, or three things that I came away with from her that actually collapsed into goals for me for 2023 and beyond. And one of them is, it's important for me to be a great leader. And I wrote some ideas down from her. She now has an amazing book too that I'm referring to that will help me to be a great leader. And I took that idea and made it part of my overall plan for 2023. Another thing that I learned from just listening to her was I moved my dream from someday writing a book to actually making that a goal and in 2023. And I've created an action plan around writing my book in 2023. And another one that came to the forefront when I listened to Maggie was creating my dream home. Like I've always had these ideas of having a most amazing dream home, but just listening to her, that just again came to the forefront. And so I wrote that down and highlighted it as one of my ideas, and the inspiration that she brought forward is making me put that idea into reality. Hard to move the slides forward here. So we all know that well, for many of us, I should say, our dreams for our lives are supported by our businesses. They're linked directly. Some of us are the breadwinners. We support the breadwinners. We run the family business, we run the family or the business. In our business or for our business, planning equals that growth and success. It's that working on the business part that for some of us is really hard to do. I understand that, having been in that situation myself, sometimes often, but we understand that success sometimes comes from, we also understand that success sometimes comes from sheer luck or being at the right place at the right time, or even doing something just on the fly, right? But planning still is an integral part to our success. It's our roadmap to get us to where we want to be or where we want to go from where we are today. It allows us to take those ideas that we got from the Women's Business Conference or from one of those amazing podcasts that we've listened to just recently, and take those ideas and convert them into reality. And when we do that, what actually happens is we minimize our overwhelm, our exhaustion, our frustration. Now, we all know as business owners and that you can't take away overwhelm, right? But we can only minimize it. And that is what planning allows us to do. It affords us the opportunity to grow faster and with less effort, where we are directing our outcomes, providing us confidence and clarity, and producing the results that we seek. Is this me, Megan?
Yes.
Thanks. And so clarity is very powerful. It provides for greater focus. And when we write things down, we can go back to that information and use it when needed. And we are more likely to execute when we write our ideas down. And you're going to see this in a few moments because we're going to take you through an exercise. But if you have some ideas and some inspiration from either the Women's Business Conference or, another event you attended. Just sort of get them into your focus now as we start walking you through an exercise that will be helpful for you to put this into reality.
Again, like I said, if you've been a part of NOVO, this looks somewhat familiar, especially if you've been in a leadership position in your local chapter. This is what you guys hear us talk about, the one-page business plan. It's not some crazy 20-page plan. It is, just on one page, hence the one-page business plan. It's simple. It puts everything into simple terms, and it's an online tool. It is a way to create your business growth plan and to use it to turn your dreams into reality and to turn those ideas and the inspirations into actions, goals, and strategies. This is where we take our ideas and the inspiration and put it into an operational business plan. So if you just recently, again, if you went to WBC, we want to hear what kind of ideas and inspiration did you have? We listen to podcasts I don't personally listen to podcasts all the time, but people do listen to podcasts pretty often, or webinars or other events, or just in-person NOVO events. What have you gone to? What's inspired you guys lately? Margaret she loves writing. She wishes she could show you the doodle pad. That would be great, because I'm sure it's fantastic knowing Margaret. Where do you guys put your ideas? Margaret has the doodle pad. Do you use something online? We want to hear from you guys and what you do with your inspirations and what you walk away with and have walked away with from different events this year. Anybody have anything they were inspired by this year? Margaret's got her hand up, I think.
Hi. Yeah, I think I was mostly inspired by all the resiliency. I think, like you said, like we all take something away from the speakers that we hear. Like it's all like you guys are talking about dreams, and I was just, I had a life change in the last 18 months, and I just needed the resiliency message, and that's what I got from Molly and Maggie and just all the amazing speakers, and also the community. The NABO community is just in itself such a support, even when they don't know it.
Margaret, is there anything that can you hear me? Am I on? I'm not on mute, am I? Is there anything that came from that inspiration that began to formulate as an idea for how you can make some changes in your business in 2023, or
Yes.
that which align to your goals for your business for 2023?
Yes. And I am not a plant. None of you knew I was going to be here today.
No, we did not.
I did do the one-page business plan with Beyond Strategy, and when I did it, I changed services. Like I added a service and I removed a service. So this year, at the end of this year, I finally, because my doodle pad since January had my new ideas. And friends, it's taken me 10, 11 months to do it, to get just make the game plan. But that's what came out of October for me. It was just simplifying, not overcomplicating what my company does and how we do it. And it's been a game changer.
That's great. Great way to take, an idea or some inspiration and put it into action to move your business forward. Thank you for sharing that.
And we have some comments in the chat too from Jay. She said at WBC, she loved the stories and journey of the winners on the evening of the gala. She loved the attitude these amazing ladies took towards the adversities they faced. And she said Michele was one of them, she believes, which she was correct. And she received a lot of encouragement for her work from NOVO veteran members. So yeah, it's not just, the actual speakers, it's the other people in the room that we're getting the inspiration and our ideas from. Oh, and she said the day after the conference, she received her first contract with the Women's Business Center. Congrats, Jay. That's fantastic.
That's wonderful.
So if you've written down any ideas, not just today, but just in general over the past year, especially the last couple of months, this is where then we want you to take a look at what those ideas and those inspirations that you've put onto your paper, taken that from your mind and your notes, and just kind of take a look at them. Margaret, is your hand up because you have something? And I'm just asking because I don't want to miss you if you wanted to share something again.
No, sorry, I had forgotten to lower it.
I'm just making sure. Don't want to miss any participation. Think about that vision. The first part of the business plan is your vision. It describes that future. It's the future of not only your business, but your life. Like Michele said, we're small, medium, large, whatever we are. As business owners, there's no divide. Your business and life, there's so much overlap. That vision isn't just for your business, it's your whole entire life in most situations. So take a look at what you wrote down in over the last couple of months and your inspiration and ideas from different events or meetings that you've had, and take a look, pick 1, 2, or 3 of them, see what's most important to you and what resonates with you, and how it all fits in and where you want to be at the end of 2023. And those are the things that you're going to focus on going into the new year. I don't know about you guys, but I still can't believe we're talking about 2023.
We're almost there. Today's December 1st.
I know. So if you want to move forward, Michele.
So when it comes to planning, we're speaking today about the one-page business plan because we use that methodology for ourselves and our businesses and to train others. But if there's another format for you and that you're using, we completely understand that. But the reality is that what planning boils down to is allowing you to have greater clarity. And there's 3 primary elements in planning that we look to and we share with others and have others focus on. And that is, to focus on your future, what you want that future to look like, to know where you are today, operationally, strategically, and as well as financially, very important element. And to what we're talking about today is touching on just briefly is creating the roadmap between where you want to be versus where you are today. And that is where these ideas that you gather from the different events you attend become important, because you take those ideas and convert them into actionable projects, if you will, that help you achieve those goals that you've set for yourself in the future. And so it's like this, it becomes this sweet, delicious recipe for success, but it always boils down to these 3 elements. And so you have your business plan, you have your inspiration and ideas, and you do your best to align those so that you can actually fulfill on those goals and that future that you've set out for yourself. When you think about it, when I attend various events, I jot down a lot of different ideas, but the reality is, as business owners, is that those ideas, they're all great. But if we were to attempt to turn all of those ideas into action right away, we'd probably exhaust ourselves pretty, quickly. And then what happens? We actually revert to doing things the old way, or put some of those ideas or the rest of those ideas on the back burner because we get so challenged with, trying to perform actions or take action on all the ideas that come into play. So the important element in what we're speaking to today is to take those important ideas that fit into the vision that Meggan mentioned, to fit into your objectives for 2023. And don't get rid of the rest of the ideas. Obviously, you just keep them on your list, and they become the next sets of priority for yourself in the future, for you to take action on once you address those important ideas that you've gotten from the events or the podcasts that you've listened to. They're all important, but as business owners, one mistake we can easily make is trying to achieve everything all at one time. That's a recipe for disaster and not success. So there's
Right,
alignment and balance.
Right. We're talking about, how to put your inspiration and ideas and, how it fits into your business plan. And it's funny because I was thinking about this as though it's, how do I create a business plan or create objectives or an action plan around the inspiration ideas, but it works the other way as well. I have a business plan. I have a one-page plan for my own business. We have one for Beyond Strategy Partners. So it's the same thing. We come home, or not even come home from somewhere, but just this idea pops into your head because, we think we're super women and can do everything. And, you get these ideas, but then I go back to my plan and say, oh, you know what? It is a good idea, but it doesn't fit into what I'm trying to achieve. This is what I'm trying to build. Does that idea, that inspiration really fit into what I'm already working on? Yeah, great. Let's create an objective or an action plan around it. Like Michele said with her book, is it something that has nothing to do with getting me where I want to go? Then, you know what? That's not really something that fits into the big picture right now. So coming away from something with inspiration and ideas kind of works both ways. How do you fit it into your plan, or does it fit into your plan?
Does anyone want to share an example of perhaps somewhere along the way where, they were inspired by something, or they had an idea come up from a conference and they attempted to put it into action, but what they found was it didn't work, or it turned out to be more costly than expected, which possibly set you back? Would anyone like to share any example of that, and perhaps what you learned from going through that process?
If no one wants to share,
Michele,
I don't mind.
I'll
I don't
share.
want to monopolize. Okay.
I'll
Go
share.
ahead, Mimi, and then Margaret.
Yeah, there was a time when a Navo sister said to me, Meme, you got to scale your business and you have to have a group, and you can do their speeches in a group. And I thought that was a fabulous idea because I could make so much more money. And we'd have 6 sessions and I'd take them through the steps and we'd write their speeches. And then I realized, and here's where it all went, a speech is a very personal thing. And I have to do it one-to-one. So I ended up doing the 6 sessions with the 4 people and then doing individual sessions in between. So it turned out to be, I made about 50 cents an hour. And no. So you have to know actually what your service is and how it works best. And that's been last 10 years of being a coach and not a keynote speaker on the stage. That's been my process. How do I work best? How do I get the most results from the least, which costing them the least in time and money? And it's gotten better. You know how when you do things over and over, it gets faster and you get better? That's what's happened. But man, I'm glad I realized that group thing wasn't going to work for me.
That's a great example, Mimi, because, I know for myself in a service business, that's happened, similar situation has happened to me like that before. You get so excited. It sounds like a great idea. You want to run with it, and you don't have all of the elements. You haven't thought about all the elements all the way through to assess whether or not it makes financial, operational, and strategic sense for your business. Very good example. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for letting me.
Margaret, I believe you had something that you wanted to add.
Yeah, and I hope this actually, I probably have like 10 examples, but I'm going to stick to one that I think could help all of us. I went to a small group mastermind, and they said, when you're selling, sell like a, like your starter. Like, don't go, because I have retainer services in my business, and don't start with a retainer, start with a strategy. And I thought, well, why would I do that when if someone's already ready to be a monthly client, why would I stop that? What I found is that a lot of the people that I work with, they don't understand a lot of the work that goes into what we do, right? So when I started with the strategy, I have a client that I've known for a decade. And it took her this long to finally hire us. And she's always played back and forth with email, like, well, I'm almost interested. So we did the strategy. And once I took her through that, she saw how much was involved. And then she realized that we together realized, instead of me telling her, that she didn't have the personnel to execute the plan. So she hired us to execute. And that was so genius, because maybe I didn't start with a retainer. I started with like a flat rate that was going to end the project. But now that relationship is so much more meaningful, and she gets it.
Wonderful example. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Where did an idea or something that inspired you fit into your plan, and it actually turned out to be a recipe for success? We learn from others for sure. And so your sharing will provide other business owners with, or could provide other business owners with great opportunity, those that are listening today and those that will be listening afterward.
Jay said she can share a bit about her business launch. If you want to share, we would love to hear about it, Jay.
Are you guys able to hear me?
We are.
Yep.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you everyone for sharing. It has been amazing getting to learn about these different stories. There's so many lessons in it. So, excuse me. In April of 2022, I had a product, a tool that I used for a personal challenge that I was going through. I'd lost my mother in December, and I kind of lost hope for life. I just didn't want to live anymore. But planning is my strength. That's what I've done in my career as an engineer, as a scientist. But I did not want to be in that place anymore. So I built something for me where I promised myself I will do a little bit, even if I don't feel like it, even if I'm having a bad day. There's certain things I will commit to, and I will see it through. And from January through April, that was my journey. And that was the end of hopelessness as well. And as I shared this with people, more and more people started telling me that, hey, can you build something for me as well? Can you help me? Because I'm going through some transition, some emotional challenge that I would like to also overcome. And then I realized giving people tools doesn't help. They need the education, they need the accountability along with it. Or what started with an idea and a tool today is a program that I offer to women's business centers here in Phoenix. So it transitioned from that to, it evolved with listening to what people are saying about what they need, And there are many challenges along the way, many things that I didn't know anything about. I had to figure it out. I had to fall 100 times and get up 101 times to say that, okay, this vision, this cause is worth the pain of change, if that makes sense. So yeah,
It
it was
does.
just an
Thank
idea.
you.
6 months ago, it was just an idea. But bringing it to fruition needed commitment. I think that's the one word that comes to mind.
Thank you for sharing that. I didn't see the chat earlier. You were the one that signed the deal right after the Women's Business Conference. Is that right?
That is correct. So as I started talking about this, I received an invitation to speak. And at that point, the director of the Women's Business Center, she walked up to me after the talk and said, "Hey, can you do something for us?" I said, "Sure, what do you need?" And she shared about what she was looking, her vision of what she wanted as a strong program for the center. And I submitted a proposal and did not hear back for about 90 days. And I was like, oh, that's not going to work out. But being patient and being understanding that they also have multiple things. I'm not the center of their planet, their universe. So I had to continue doing what I was supposed to do to build my business. And when the time was right, it showed up. And NABO gave me such a boost because it was an idea in my head. Yes, I spoke to people in my community, but NABO was a much bigger platform at a national level. And everybody I shared what I do with had relatability. That is very hard to create in a business. So it helped me understand that the cause is worth everything I'm going to face going forward. As long as I choose not to give up, something or the other will happen. And it'll be better than what I envisioned.
That's great. That's a really great example, of, also having that idea. And then ideas are also supported by your community, right? And this community for sure will also assist with, does it make sense, for your business, or does it not make sense for your business, which is another great element of, taking your ideas and blending them in with your business plan, if in fact they make sense, but also having that community to support you in that.
It plays a huge role because many times business owners feel lonely because they are the one leading the cause for their business. But having a community that says, it's okay if you tried one thing that didn't work out, try 100. You never know what works out. So I think that is critical for especially small business success in the long run. So thank you guys for being that support.
Thank you for sharing that, Jay. We appreciate that. We wanted to discuss aha moments during the course of the session today, as opposed to waiting until the end. And what a great moment Jay just shared with us. Thank you so much for doing that, Jay. You fit right into the presentation right before we got to this slide.
Thank you.
There was Meggan, I was thinking, instead of going right to this, what if we were to just to go back and just reiterate how taking the ideas and the inspiration from your events and restating how they fit into the plan that you're creating for your business, and going back to the assessment. Sure. Do you want me to?
Yeah, if you have something in mind, go ahead and I'll jump in.
For sure. So we had mentioned earlier just about how you're, when you're at these events and you get all of these great nuggets, we just recommend that you take the time and write those things down. And then once you write them down, take a look at whether or not, again, they make sense to be putting into your business plan. Do they connect with the vision that you created? Do they connect with the goals that you have for 2023? And if they do, the way that you're going to convert those ideas into reality and start executing is if you create an action plan, i.e., that implementation element in order to take that idea and turn it into reality. That's really just how we wanted to summarize that up for you today.
So with the one-page plan, I did touch on that. It starts with the vision that 5-year out. And just kind of take a few moments to talk about the different components of it and where your ideas and your inspiration kind of ties into the plan. Again, that vision is 3 to 5 years. So that's your future, right? Michele talked about where do you want to be? And that's where you're going to put that on any kind of business plan, but especially the one-page plan. Your ideas and inspirations definitely go into that objectives that defines and identify or quantifies your goals. What do you want to do in 2023? Are you looking to write a book? Michele just said she wants to write a book. So, where that goes on the plan, it could really go in a couple of spots. But if we're going to take that idea and that inspiration that Michele had, can we use that idea and inspiration, Michele, and talk about how something like that would fit into the plan?
My idea, my inspiration?
Yeah.
Okay. About writing a book. Sure. Specifically about the book. Is that right, Meggan?
Yeah. So writing a book, if you're a business owner, Mimi's laughing. I think she enjoys this because I put Michele on the spot. So writing a book, right. The end result of writing a book, what does Michele or anybody who writes a book? I know Meggan Patton wants to write a book as well. I have no plans of writing a book. I will let the two of them have that great lofty goal. A book, if you're a business owner, a book is going to drive revenue. So Michele's goal, her objective isn't going to be to write that book necessarily. It's writing that book is going to support objectives and goals that she has in her life. If she wants to become a $3 million company, writing a book is going to help drive revenue because it gives her that, she's going to be well known, right? She's going to be able to say, she wrote a book in some kind of area of expertise. I have no idea what Michele wants to write a book on. It could be something boring about accounting and numbers and finance, because we're both CPAs. It could be something about business planning or just, the impact of women in your life. Whatever that book that she wants to write could help drive growth in her business, whether it's the accounting firm or Beyond Strategy Partners. So that's where her idea and her inspiration of writing a book is going to support other goals that supports that vision of where she wants her life and her business to be in 3 to 5 years. So then the strategy may be to write a book or become a well-known award-winning author on whatever her topic is. And then, so that would be that blueprint for the growth. And then the implementation would be the actual plan of how she's going to attack writing a book. Is she going to take one weekend a month and go rent a hotel room and write 100 pages every month? I don't know what her plan is, because again, this is her goal and inspiration and idea, because like I said, we all have our own, but that's where then she's going to take that action plan of how she's going to write that book. So that's how writing a book is going to support Michele's vision for her life and her business. It's not the goal. Writing a book may seem like the goal, but it's really not the goal. Anybody else have an idea or an inspiration that they want to talk through and how it would fit into your objective and your vision and your action for the year? Come on, I feel like I'm on a roll here.
I know, right? You do a mini business.
Your action plan, Michele, for writing your book.
Yeah, that was good. in full disclosure, the idea just got put on paper. So you actually just helped crystallize it even further. That was really great. And what I was thinking about when you asked that question before you took it on was, I actually had this idea 10 years ago to write a book, but I shelved it. I don't know if it was because of lack of confidence or, I didn't, think I was far enough in my career to write the book. And so it was always on my paper and I always wanted to do it someday. But for whatever reason, attending the Women's Business Conference and meeting, being in the presence of Maggie Cook just took that idea that had been on paper in the lower level priority section and, advanced it to priority level 1 because her words of wisdom. And actually, I listened to Mimi, a podcast Mimi did just recently, and her words of wisdom as well made me see that, whether for me being in the service business, wanting to share about financial literacy and mastering the keys to financial excellence are very important to me. So I recognized with both of these events, the podcast and the WBC, that there's something valuable to share. And then that led to you creating my business plan around that today. So we'd love to walk through with someone else about an idea that they have come up with, how it for them could become could work its way into your business plan.
Can I share? One of the things that is I'm very passionate about is working with veterans, especially military transitions. That are very difficult for both the veteran themselves and their families. So one of my goals next year is to create the program for helping military personnel and their families through the transition. And in order to build that program, I do need to strategize. I think this will be a good brainstorming session to understand their challenges. So one of the things I have is understand what challenges the veterans go through themselves to adjust to a civilian lifestyle, and understanding what challenges their families go through as well. So besides that, one thing you mentioned, Michele, is financial literacy. A lot of veterans do end up homeless, unfortunately. So if that could be a part of the program where they understand basics of their finances and how they can, after transition, in case they don't have a career lined up right away, what they can do to minimize, what is the right term? Minimize the drawbacks of not having the right financial education.
Right.
That's
okay.
Great. So I think, and I wonder what Michelle's thinking, but I'm thinking that the objective, what you're going to be measuring, is how many veterans or veteran families you want to support in 2023.
Okay.
Because for one-page business plan purposes, that objective needs to be something you're measuring. So you want to support veterans. So what does that look like? You want to quantify that number. How many veterans do you want to support? Your strategies are, those how, and how. What are the big things that you're going to do? You're going to support veterans through financial excellence and whatever other programs you're looking to create. And then the action is you're going to create that action plan of what you're creating. Whatever that program is that you want to build and offer to veterans families. You write that action plan of what that is. And your action plan could have multiple steps. It's not just create a program to support veterans. It's going to be, there could be research involved. There could be interviewing veterans and, other people who support veterans. But yeah, it's going to start with that. How many veterans do you want to support? What are you thinking, Michele?
I was going to I was thinking the number of veterans to support or the number of programs that you wanted to implement in 2023. It depends on which direction you go, but either
Mhm.
Oh,
objective
yeah.
makes sense. Depending on, well, I would say depending on, but depending on how it aligns with the vision or the future vision you have for your company. And then inside of that, with respect to the action plan, it's about how you may have a few action plans around this one idea in and of itself. What's the marketing strategy? What's the pricing strategy? Or how will such programs be funded? And you would have to do some research around those. That's the lines I was thinking in. So it aligns with what Meggan is saying, and they're just a few options for how you direct yourself in getting there.
Okay.
But that's the great thing with business planning and the one-page plan is that you can go in so many different avenues, and just whatever the opportunities that come up, it just goes right back to what's your vision for the company and what's your mission? Who are you helping and how are you trying to help them? It all ties right up. It goes up, right? Everything supports the thing above it. So, yep.
And in this example, Jay, which I think is a good example as we're going through this process from turning ideas into an executable or including them and making them executable action plans, where taking some time to think this through will help you is determining which direction is the right one for you. So for example, if it's, the objective is supporting a certain number of veterans, as opposed to a certain number of programs, that first objective may be what you work toward, right? Because you could, because you may have other endeavors and other objectives to fulfill. So if you're looking at the number of veterans that you're out to assist, as opposed to the number of programs, that might work within the time frame of an entire year. Like one
Makes
might
sense.
take more time than the other. So you really,
Right.
what you want to be able to do is just think them through and then choose what makes the most sense for your year 2023
Makes sense.
and how it aligns with the overall vision for the next 5 years. So we appreciate you going through that example with us.
Thank you. Thank you for getting my mind started in what direction I need to go. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Does anyone else have any questions, comments? Anything
I have a
to add?
comment. Just about the business planning.
Yes.
Working out like what your goals are. I think also because when I did the business plan, do you remember when we did that? Was that end of last year? And when I reviewed it over again, and like I knew what my goals were and how I was working towards them, I realized how much effort was going into one of my goals that was not profitable for me. And so seeing it laid out and seeing the effort, it was like I finally made the decision to stop doing a service that was a labor of love that I had been, doing for 4 years. So like the business plan actually also helped me to see that something I didn't want to see it through. I wanted to move on to something else.
Yes, very good example of how an idea converted into putting it into your plan, and then it didn't work. And that's, I think that's a really good example to present. Thank you for sharing that, Margaret. Some ideas work and some ideas don't work. But as, I think Mimi referred to, some of them take time to vet to see if they're actually going to make sense for your business. But that's the beauty of having our business and doing what works and shedding what doesn't in order to get us to the next level. Thanks very much. Ladies, it's been a pleasure. We're going to close. We enjoyed being with you today, and we can, as part of the session today, Meggan and I are available if anyone is interested to do a mini business assessment, looking at the last year for you, since we're coming to the close of 2022, what's working, what's not working, and looking at other elements that could lead you to success for 2023. So if you want to spend some time with us in doing that, we're offering 30-minute business sessions, 30-minute business assessment sessions. Please reach out to us. We're here for you. And if we don't hear from you, we wish you the best and a happy holiday season, a wonderful new year. We look forward to seeing you in 2023. And we look forward to hearing about the great success you're having in your companies. Enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.